Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm filming a notebook review, which I love doing. I love talking about paper. I'm passionate about good quality paper, especially as I write with fountain pens. And today the notebook I'm reviewing is this. This is the Penco General Notebook. So the Penco is a company, or is a brand made by the company Hightide. So it's a Japanese brand. I'm going to talk about the notebook. I'm going to show, but mainly what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the paper. So basically this notebook is a B6. It also comes in B7 and A7, which I've seen. B7 being basically a smaller version of this, and the A7 being kind of like more like a little notebook that has binding across the top, you know, like the little notepad. It comes in a range of colors, which I'll talk about, but yeah, so it's got this plastic cover, and then as it says on the front here, it's 128 by 182 millimeters, 150 sheets or 300 pages, and 5 by 5 grid ruled, which you can see there. Now, just for like a size comparison, here is an A5 Archer and Olive book. You can see it is considerably smaller in both directions. That is B6. It's smaller than A5. And just actually while I'm here, I'll just show the color of the paper, because Archer and Olive has very nice white paper, and you can see that the color of the Penco paper is sort of more ivory, definitely off-white cream, definitely not pure white. So if you're after pure white paper, not the notebook for you. It's thread bound and glued, and it's got a nice sort of sturdy cover. I do like the fact that this is a sturdy cover, and I also like the fact that it's sort of kind of retro in the kind of like the print and all of that kind of stuff. It's got a nice sort of old school feel about it. Look, I think these notebooks, they are sturdy. These plastic covers mean that you actually it protects the book a lot. The rounded corners mean that it doesn't get banged up too much. An example, here is my B7, which I carry with me at the moment. It's been in my bag, and it's kind of like the notebook if I need paper, you know, that I grab. You can see it doesn't sit particularly open, that plastic cover. Once it's sort of folded, kind of like it's done its job. But it does sort of get protected. It keeps nice and clean, and you can see a few little scuff marks and things like that from use, but it's holding together very, very nicely. And I assume the B6 will do the same if treated, you know, appropriately, shall we say. So let's have a look at, I'll just quickly show you some information. Penco notebook, as I said, made by Hightide. This is the B6 white. It's also, as I said, available in B7 and A7. The colors that it can also come in are black, navy, teal, red, yellow. Those are the ones I've seen. I'm sure there are more. 12.8 by 18.2, so 12.8 by 18.2 centimeters. So standard B6 size. 5.5 grid layout, 300 pages of recycled paper. Now, I haven't been able to find out exactly what paper this is. If you have information about that, please put it in the comments below. I would love to know. But yeah, it says fountain pen friendly, but there have been some comments about this paper on other, you know, blogs and things like that, about it not being fountain pen friendly. And I think I don't know what they're getting at, because we'll talk about that in a minute, but I think it actually performs pretty well. So it's got a soft plastic cover, which is a problem because, okay, soft plastic cover is great to protect the book. It keeps it somewhat waterproof. Like if you get water on the notebook, you can wipe it off, stuff like that. But they're using recycled paper, and then they're using plastic. Now, if you wanted to recycle this notebook, you would have to remove the covers, because you can't recycle the plastic with, you know, your paper recycling, stuff like that. Bit of an issue. It's made in China by a Japanese company with an American aesthetic, because one website I saw had something that said like designed with a clean, no nonsense aesthetic of the American 1950s Levi 501 generation. You get the idea. I like it. It's thread bound. It's a nice book. It's kind of retro and cool and utilitarian, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the aesthetic of it. I enjoy the feel of it. I don't mind the feel of the plastic. It's soft. It's sort of got some texture on it. It's nice. It does everything it's supposed to do. So let's talk about the price, and then we'll talk about the paper quality. In Australia, this retails for $16.95, which puts it in a very healthy price point for other notebooks of this quality. The pound price is $8.50, and the US price I saw it for is $10.50. So what we've come here to do is to see the quality of this paper. So I have done a range of tests. Now, they say it is fountain pen friendly, so I've done a lot of fountain pens. Pilot Black in a Custom 72, Robert Oster Blue Water Ice in a Visconti Michelangelo, Leonardo Sepia in a Gravitas Pens Delrin, Pilot Irochizuku Yamaguri in a Pilot Custom 823 Broad, which is also what this is written with, Diamine Oxford Blue in a Kaweco Sport Extra Fine, Tono and Limbs number 6 in a Pilot Falcon Soft Fine, Diamine Twilight in a TWSBI Go Broad, which is an ink that can actually be a bit problematic at times. On lower end paper, it will feather and bleed, so if the paper is susceptible to it, you will get that. And then Noodler's Bay State Blue there. And then I've done like a Retro 51 Rollerball, a Pilot G2 Gel Pen, a Lamy Ballpoint, a Sharpie Ultrafine, a highlighter, a Tombow Mono 2B pencil, which I've also done an eraser test, which it doesn't perform super well. There are paper that erase better than this does. And then I've done a couple of simple things like a little dry test. So on Tomoe River, this ink takes about 30 to 35 seconds to dry. So it's on par with that in terms of like the ink sitting on the surface of the paper. And then the water test, I've already did a triangle, moved it around, so you can see it actually moves around nicely, and then like a more water resistance test on the ink. This will also show what happens on the other side of the page. Now you can see on the face of this, it all performs well. Like you've got, the lines hold nice and tight. Even there, if you look at Diamond Twilight, there might be a tiny little bit of, maybe a tiny little bit of spread, but nothing really. And everything else performs very nicely. It looks good. The other thing I should say is they say this is a threadbound notebook, so it will lie flat. Like, I kind of disagree. Like, you can crack the spines of these books, but like, I don't think this is a lay flat notebook. And part of the problem with that is the fact that this plastic doesn't like fold back. You can fold it back on itself, and it does that quite well. But then, even on those pages, like, it doesn't sit flat for me. It's not a lay flat binding at all. Looking at the reverse of my test page here, now that is from here. That's not come through. The reverse of the page, what has come through? Well, not a lot. The Sharpies come through a little bit. That is an alcohol-based pigment, like ink, so that's going to come through. Bay State Blue tries to come through, but Bay State Blue is notorious for, even on good quality paper, for being hard to deal with. The water has come through a little bit, but we are putting down, like a lot of ink from a lot of, kind of quite generous pens. A Visconti Michelangelo, even though it's a fine, it's a Visconti, so it writes wet. And you can see sheen on that. I'm not sure if that's going to come up. This is the red sheen from Blue Water Ice. There's even a hint of the sheen there on Diamond Twilight, which is always nice to see. But nothing has come through. It's performed really, really well. There's no feather, there's no bleed. And I would probably say, yes, there's a bit of show through, a bit of ghosting, but I would still say that's usable. Also taking in mind that this kind of notebook, this style of notebook, is utilitarian. It is designed to be used. It is designed to be functional. Like, yes, they've gone for a particular aesthetic here with this, and I really enjoy that. I think it's a great aesthetic. But the main function of this notebook is the performance of it. It's an everyday notebook. It's designed to be carried. It's designed to be treated a bit rough. And I think it does a really, really good job. Just show the reverse of that information page I wrote there. You can see, like, nothing has come through. I like it. I like the fact that this paper does perform well in a notebook that per page is actually pretty well priced. You're not getting a fancy notebook. You're not getting a hardcover. You're not getting fancy binding. You're not getting, like, there's not a whole lot of line rule options. You're getting kind of, brighter colors that, may not be to everyone's aesthetic. But what you are getting is a notebook that performs really, really well. So those people who have reviewed this, who have said that, or spoken about it, who have said that, it's not, fountain pen friendly, I don't see that. I see this as fountain pen friendly paper. Like, I think there are realistically better quality papers on the market, and even from Japanese brands, things like Grapholo and things like that, I understand. But it's a lighter weight paper. I couldn't find anything about the weight of the paper or who makes it. By the touch, I would have by the weight of the paper, I'd be saying it's somewhere around the 70 to 80 GSM minimum. I wouldn't say it's much lighter than that, but I certainly wouldn't say it's heavier. but you can see it performs well. So if you're looking for a notebook that has a good amount of pages, that has a rugged cover that you can carry with you, that is malleable, that is a good size. Like, it's not A5, it is smaller, so it is sort of more like a hand, it's carryable. It's very, very carryable. Really good to look at, and so they come in a couple other sizes as well. So keep this in mind. It's an interesting notebook, interesting company, and I love the aesthetic. I really, really do. So I hope you found this video about the Penco notebook from Hightide to be interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe and hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @the_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here, or drop me an email, which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there is a way you would like to support this channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy your notebooks, and I'll talk to you soon.